Hi everybody. I've done some tours and some videos around Topeka so far, but today I'm going to do a tour of Topeka Boulevard because there was a little push called Save the Boulevard. And this road goes north-south. It goes right through downtown by the Capitol. And I wanted to show you the southern route of Topeka Boulevard and what exactly it looks like and why they have a push for saving the boulevard. I don't know. But that ride, as well as a little tour around Washburn University, is in the making of this tour. So I hope you enjoy this ride, and thanks for watching. If you do, give it a like, share, thumbs up, subscribe, and let's get started. We're going to take a quick ride down what is called Topeka Boulevard, and there is a big promo for Save the Boulevard, but it's kind of run down. This is where the old White Lakes Mall was. Mainline Printing actually took over the property. I'll show you. And they tore down the mall, so that was good. And they actually took over another abandoned store called Boardman's that went out from Topeka. So let me go and take a quick ride and show you what it looks like as we drive down Topeka Boulevard. Right now, just in a shopping center that has a antique mall flea market, and obviously the gas company's here and they're putting up fences for these people. I'm not really sure what that's all about, but we do a lot of crazy things here in Topeka. I'm not really sure. They don't really have their act together. They just have put the city manager is no longer the city manager. They kind of, I don't know, ousted him, and there's a temporary city manager in place right now until they figure out what he did. So I don't know. So I'm going to take a right here, and I'm going to just continue a little bit further down Topeka Boulevard, and then I'm going to go and turn around and show you again where the White Lakes Mall used to be and what this whole area looks like. Right behind here, behind 37th Street, which we're just passing by, there have been 3 homicides this year alone. We have already hit more homicides in Topeka for 2023 than we did the whole year of 2022. We have 18 this year. We had 17 for the whole year of 2022. So crime is really getting bad here. Not sure what the story is, but you know, and when police are called, they do come, but there's just a lot of nonsense going on here. I don't know if there's any place in Topeka that's really safe anymore, because I was talking to a neighbor and she lived over down by 34th. I live over by 12th, and she said no, there was just as much crime going on down there. So this is what Topeka Boulevard looks like as you get a little bit further and further and further outside of the city. I mean, you're still in the city, but this was, I guess, where they thought building was going to occur and they were going to make it great, and instead it really went, instead of going south, it really went more west. And so that's where all the newer construction and the newer homes and the lake is. So this kind of all went downhill, and it's just nothing out here. There's a Frito-Lay plant out here. Again, Topeka has a lot of manufacturing plants, so if you're into manufacturing and you do that kind of work, you'll be fine. I'm going to turn off Topeka Boulevard for a while, and I'm going to go down what's called Southwest 45th Street, and I'm going to see what's going on down that road. I don't usually come out this far. I'm beyond 29th or 33rd Street, so I'm just going to take a quick ride and see what I see and make a U-turn and go back down to Topeka Boulevard. So I'm going to go down 45th. I'm going to see what's going on down here. Okay. There's a mobile home community place called the 785 Beer Company, but I never see anything going on. I think it's closed down, to be honest. We do have two breweries, though. We have the Blind Tiger and the Happy Basset Brewing Company. Here's a field. Somebody's doing farming. The street is pretty busy. There's a lot of traffic coming behind me, which I'm surprised. And there's some empty fields over here. I'm going to pull off, make a U-turn, so I can go back down Topeka Boulevard in a minute. I'm just going to see if there's anything up here at the corner that I can see. I might just go down just a little bit further. I'm trying to figure out, this is Southeast Adams. So we're in the east part of Topeka, which does not have always a great reputation in general. But depends on where you are. Again, west side is good, depends on where you are. East side is good, depends on where you are. You can't even say anymore. So here's a beautiful farm. Somebody has a beautiful farm over here on the right with beautiful buildings. It's called the Double C Ranch. So it's nice right out here if you're in Southeast Topeka. And again, I'm going to turn around because I see a lot of new construction on the left. Here's another beautiful home. They have a little lake, probably for their animals. Very nice. Circle up ahead, so that's good. I can go around the traffic circle and get back onto Topeka Boulevard. And of course, what would life be without a Dollar General? As you go further and further out of city limits, that's what you really get for shopping. So circle. Here I go. They started doing more and more traffic circles in the newer areas of Topeka. I guess they're supposed to be safer, and they're supposed to help with traffic flow. So we'll see. Up to some of the newer homes. There's newer homes on the right, and they look, well maintained and nice. So it's not this commute, but that's a nice brick home actually. Not bad looking at all. As we get down further, there's some new developments that I never realized were actually out this way. wants to live super far away from anything. There really is no shopping out here in as you go further south. There isn't as much shopping, so you have to kind of go more north, and that becomes a problem. So we're going to make a right now back onto Topeka Boulevard, and I'll show you what it looks like from here. The roads are all just full of bumps and lumps. Sorry if the camera's shaking. Not much I can do about it. Development here in Topeka too, where homeless people are now building encampments on city property, and the city is saying they don't have any ordinance preventing them from doing that. And these properties that are owned by the city, in fact, there's a piece of land right at the corner behind my home that I was told the city owns. They maintain it, they go and mow it. So does that mean just people can start, you know, it's big enough for like one house and some property around it. Does that mean people could just go there and sit and now, you know, create a home base for themselves? I don't know. Topeka's not real good about their city, so that's why maybe the city manager got axed right now, because there's just too much stuff going on that probably shouldn't have gone on. But it's too late now, basically, so that's the way it is. You can't have your cake and eat it, but, you know, everybody wants to pay no taxes, and they want to, you know, have everything just hunky-dunky, but, you know, you don't get that if you're not paying any taxes. Usually the tax holders, they complain, they get something done. So here's the old mall lot that's just big empty space, but mainline printing knocked down the old dilapidated mall, thank God, because it was just having squatters in there as well, and they've had fires in there, and this is just a normal routine with any abandoned mall. It's always been like that, so it's not going to stop. This was there's a Taco Bell that closed. This was a beautiful building, thank God somebody took it over. Murray's Flooring is there. This is a big concession that does heating and air conditioning, and they do a lot of work around the area. You'll see their trucks. So I don't know. I've never used them. I've used somebody else. Had a bad experience with one person that I used off of Angie. They were horrible. Went onto the internet, found somebody else myself, and he was great. Knows what he's doing, and he actually worked for McElroy's at one time, so he was trained, I guess, really well, and he knew what he was doing, no problems, and I'm going to use him again when we probably decide in the future to put in a bathroom downstairs in our basement area. Here's some broken down hotels that they've had issues with too in the past, and now we're getting up to 29th and Topeka Boulevard. Topeka Boulevard is considered the southwest. When I was driving down 45th, once we pass over Kansas Avenue, it becomes southeast Topeka. So I'm back into the west side, and there's our Spangles restaurant that sells you the drinks that you can buy through the drive-thru. They now have a classic meal, and they do something else. They have some other kind. They had a Corona Rita for a while, and now they're doing some other kind of drink. I can't see the sign, unfortunately. So their new drink is a pina colada with carrot, egg, coconut rum that you can buy through the draw people in that need to stay overnight. They really don't do anything other than maybe they do gun shows all the time. They had a fall festival one time. They had, you know, a rodeo one weekend, but they really don't have anything. And this quick stop over here is the worst. You do not want to get out of your car. You do not want to stop. You do not want to do anything because there's people over here all the time coming up asking you for money, and it's just too shady. And this is in broad daylight. I'm talking about. You don't want to come here. Not at night. In broad daylight, because there's just too many people wandering around asking you for money, and you don't know if they're going to pull out a gun. And there's just so much drugs around here that you don't know what they're really looking for. So. Roads are horrible here. This is the right lane. I should probably be in the left lane, but I'm not, so here we go. I'll just take it to the end and then I'll move over. You'll also see a lot of state associations are here, like the motor carriers and the Kansas Insurance, you know, and Board of Realtors, everything like that, because it's the state capital. So here is a big sign that says you are now in the capital city of Topeka. Woo-hoo! And on your left is the big Kansas Blue Cross Blue Shield. Over there is an interesting thing. That's the little Jayhawk. That's a symbol here for our teams. They use the Jayhawk, which is not the same as Washburn University that uses an Ichabod as their mascot. And over there on the right, you can see that's the Capitol building. So I'm just going to take a right-hand turn on 10th. They're actually tearing down the building on the left, and they're going to make a new building. It's kind of weird. Nobody understands why, but they are. So that's it. That's the way they do things. That's the government. The Capitol is on my left. Unfortunately, I'm driving the wrong direction. I'd have to make a U-turn so you can see it. A lot of the streets here are all one way, so you have to be careful when you're driving, so you don't, Oh, I guess they've got that street closed down there, so I'm going to probably make a U-turn here, and then you'll be able to see everything really good here. This is our little downtown area. There really, to be honest, is not very much down here to come here for. Big Evergy building. There's one hotel here that supposedly is a nice Italian restaurant. But other than that, there really isn't much down here that you would come here for. Sorry, it's sad to say. You can look, see a lot of the buildings are even closed. There's a coffee shop. I don't even know if he's open anymore. Or they're just open limited hours, because they close down when the city workers go home. So there's really nothing. So it says there's an opening soon, Topeka's newest boutique, a yoga place, and there's a salon and wellness spa and a gallery. I'm just going to take a quick right on 10th and drive by the Capitol building over here. It's not this building here, but it's the one right beyond it. Right there is the state capitol of Topeka. You can go, of course, take a tour, or you can go in for free. It's open to the public. COVID's over, so you can now go in. And they used to have a farmer's market on the left, but because they're doing this construction, they've closed the parking lot down, so people are going to different farmers markets that they have around the city, which is fine. It's just the way it is. Washburn Avenue and take a left and just drive around the campus there, show you Washburn University. I'm crossing over Topeka Boulevard, and you basically now you're out of the downtown area. The downtown area is only like from Topeka Boulevard up to the next major intersection, which is Kansas Avenue, and a little bit beyond. It's very small. It's a 2-block wide area, basically, and you know, not much to see. This is the Topeka High School, and it's okay. Their schools don't have the greatest rankings at all, so you just have to, you know, go with the flow and decide where you want your kids to go if you have younger children and you've come here to live. On the right, we do have Catholic schools, so Mater Dei is the elementary up to, I think, 7th and 8th grade. And all these streets here that have Clay, Fillmore, whatever, this Polk, all the presidents' names, they generally are having the most issues in the neighborhoods, also with crime and issues going on there. Not sure why, but they do. Can't say why, but it's part of their I don't know, part of the agenda here. So Lane is one way, so I'm going to go down the next street, which I think is Washburn Avenue, and I can take a left on that street, and I can show you what's here. So at the corner here is Stormont Vale. That's a level 2 trauma center, and as I take my turn real fast, I will arrow. This is our library, public library, which is beautiful. So now here is the parking lot, and they do a farmer's market here too. So on Mondays or something. So now we have a bike lane here, so you can see Chandler Park. There's an Ichabod. I told you we have Ichabods, is Washburn University's mascot, and they're throughout you'll see them around the campus and around near the campus. They'll put up little symbols of the Ichabod. So let me just get around this guy who's driving his bicycle. Okay. And here's 12th Street. And there's an empty lot here, but I don't see anybody. Somebody said there was supposed to be homeless people making an encampment at Southwest 12th and Washburn. I don't see the people there. I'm not sure what they were talking about. Then in a news report they said it was at 21st and Washburn Avenue, I think, or somewhere to that. I mean, I don't even know if they do their reporting right here. They're really not too together here. I saw what they were paying reporters to work, and it was ridiculous. They weren't paying very well. I don't care if you're a newbie or not. You couldn't live on what they were paying you. So getting close to the university, and we'll drive by the front of it. My daughter used to live in these apartments over here on the right. They were brand new at the time, 14 years ago, but the kids who live there are just the undergrads, and they're just too noisy and they're crazy and they don't pay attention. This is Washburn University here, and it's a very lovely campus. It's not very big. It goes from about 17th over to 21st Street. That's the width of it, basically. And they're building, like I said, a new law school, and it's very pretty. It's a very lovely here. This is the end of it. So it's 21st and McVicker, and it goes from 17th to McVicker. On the other side, that's how far it goes. It's just a couple of blocks wide, a couple of blocks long. Let's take a turn here and see what this road looks like on McVicker. There's some campus apartments. You can barely see them through the trees, but they're there. School's out, so there's nobody really here, so it's nice to go onto the campus, and they're having some activities. They're having a summer festival, they have an art festival, and they have an art museum on their property, but they're closed now for 6 months for renovations. I think, well, 9 months, she said. I guess it's going to open up again in 2024, probably, the very beginning of 2024. And here we go, almost to the end of the Washburn campus. But see, they keep it beautifully manicured, and it's beautiful, you know. And I'm going to take a left on 17th Street to go back towards my home. Okay. So 17th Street was supposed to have a complete rework, and that means I guess they're going to get new water lines and repave the road and do everything. And I guess somehow when they got the bid, it was from a couple of years ago, and now that they want to try to do it, since they finished 12th Street where I live, they said the price is now doubled, so now they can't do it, or they won't be able to do it. So I'm not really sure what the story is. Again, that might have something to do with why that the city manager is now on leave until they do some kind of, I guess, review of what's been going on with this guy, or how the money's been spent, or how the contracts have been worked out for the city. So it's yet to be said. But now I'm on Oakley. Oakley borders on Westboro, which is one of the communities I did a drive-through of as being one of the nicer neighborhoods. They have beautiful colonials and Tudors, and all Victorian homes are in Potwin, which is further away, but it's not part of Westboro. But they do have beautiful homes here, and a beautiful park. A lot of people come here to walk their dogs, bring their kids to play in the parks. Very nice. You feel safe walking there. Again, I'm not sure if you're safe anywhere at this point, but one thing I do know is that I'm not as fearful walking my two small dogs over there. When I walk around certain other parts of Topeka, they allow pit bulls in the city limits. They didn't in years gone by, and I spoke to a resident here, and he says, oh yeah, they repealed that a number of years ago. And I'm like, you know, people make the dogs mean, unfortunately. And, you know, I found 2 loose dogs recently, and I had to call animal control. But, you know, it is what it is. I can't let my little dogs, you know, out even with a leash with 2 pit bulls running around, because there's just going to be, I know there's going to be a bloodbath regardless, because my dog will get super upset. So I'm almost done with my tour. I just crossed over 12th. That's the street they've been doing work on for 2.5 years. That's where I live. And I hope this gave you a little bit of insight into some other areas of Topeka and what it looks like and what you can expect if you come here. And if you're thinking of remote work, it could be a good option because it is fairly cheap to live here. And if you're looking to retire, it is cheap because the houses are fairly inexpensive, but they're old and they do need work. So don't think you're getting a beautifully updated home necessarily without paying for it. It's mostly because the houses are older and they really haven't been updated. I've seen what my neighbors' houses look like who've sold them, and they're just old. So thank you for coming along with me on this ride. I hope you enjoyed it. If you do, give it a like, share, thumbs up, subscribe. I'll see you on another driving tour or walking tour through Topeka, Kansas.